How are we doing, everybody? We are back with a brand new video, and we are covering Stranger Things. Today is November 6th, which is Stranger Things Day, the day that Will Byers went missing. So we will be doing a tier ranking of every Stranger Things character I could find. This is like the most comprehensive one I could find. So we're going to do a tier ranking of all of these characters. But first and foremost, please like and subscribe to the channel. I like to do things that are different. And with Stranger Things being one of my favorite shows of all time, I would love to tier rank each and every one of these characters. So here are our tiers. Our S tier is Vecna's worst nightmare. This is the best of the best. The show is not the same without these essential characters. Then we have Scoop's Ahoy Squad. Those are fan favorite characters. They bring life to the show. They make the show what it is. They make the show special. It's the special sauce. Then we have Hawks AV Club. These are supporting characters that play a central role, and I feel like without them the narrative may be lost. We show appreciate to them. And then we have Demogorgon bait, which are just characters that are expendable. They pat the kill count. We could do without them. They're here, they're there, it doesn't really matter. Then we have Papa's Lab Rejects. These are failed characters that we were supposed to care about, and we just ended up kind of discarding them to the side. And then we have the absolute worst, the dog water of characters, Will's haircut. As you know, if you've ever watched this show, Will's haircut is a joke for fans who realize it just gets worse as time goes on. Now, I've been watching Stranger Things since I was in high school, way back when. I was about 15 years old when this show came out. So this is a big deal. The show is ending. I'm like, it's like taking a step into adulthood. I'm 27. So let's go ahead and we will start with number one here. This is number eight. Number eight. I'm gonna go Papa's Lab Rejects. So season two is where she made her debut. And that's really where it ends there. She kind of shows the dark side of what can happen if one of these lab experiments, like 11, gets out. And you kind of see um, she has the power of like manipulating what you see. She can alter reality, I guess, from your point of view. But really, she's kind of a nothing burger. She's really not much of a great character. She's not trash, but she really is just a rejected character that it felt like we were supposed to care about. But at the end of the day, we kind of discarded her to the side. We have Alexi. Is Alexi? Yeah, Alexi. For some reason, I was blanking on his name. So Alexi. I'm gonna give Alexi Hawkins AV Club. I think he was a great. He was important to the plot for season three, but he was also like a character who you weren't like, I don't know, you knew he wasn't gonna have an insane arc, but just like the levity was so important for some of those moments in season three, and he brought it. And he also had an extremely tragic death. So we to Alexi, he's Hawkins AV Club. Next we have Angela. Um, we know her from the clip of 11 screaming Angela. She is like an all around just a bad person. She's Will's haircut. Absolutely a bad character. But she's supposed to be an annoying character. But man, she is just so easy to hate. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it's a bad thing. I'm gonna put her in Will's haircut. She is absolutely awful. And when she gets beaten in the face with the rollerblade, peace, peace. By the way, peep the sweatshirt. I just wanna come on now. Okay. Now that we've just okay, cool. Next we have Argyle. So Argyle is a season four character. He is a quintessential stoner, works at a pizza shop, Surfer Boys Pizza. I'm gonna give him Demogorgon bait. He is, I mean, okay, he's important to the plot in a sense, right? Because they use him, they use his van. He has that connection with the other pizza shop, so they can get 11 into like the void or the upside down. So he is essential to the plot, but at the same time, like it's also just the actor, in my opinion. Like I won't bash a lot of the actors, but he is so annoying. Like he's frustratingly annoying. So Demogorgon bait. I would love to put him in Papa's Lab Rejects, but he does serve some kind of purpose. So I'd rather just say he's bait. Mr. Wheeler. Mr. Wheeler, who is probably one of the more useless characters, but he is a patriot. And because of that, we're going to put him in Demogorgon bait. We're going to put him ahead of Argyle. I'm not really going to rank these a lot within their tiers. Put them above Argyle. Maybe this season, maybe in season 5, maybe in the final season, we'll finally see something from Mr. Wheeler. I doubt it, but maybe we will. And of course, if we go back to season 1, we remember the moment when Barb was rejected by Nancy, discarded to the side, and later became Demogorgon food. We, of course, are talking about Barb. Now, Barb is interesting because I never cared for Barb's character. And people always yell justice for Barb, and I hear you, but I disagree. So we're going to put Barb also in Demogorgon bait. She is literal Demogorgon bait, the OG Demogorgon bait. That's where she belongs. I personally never cared for her character. Her character to me just seemed more whiny than anything. And maybe she was meant to be in a different way, but I just could not care less. So Demogorgon bait it is. We have Benny's Burgers. Now I'm putting him in hot. He's one of those side characters, and you only have Benny for maybe 2 episodes, maybe just 1. But he is what humanity should be. He's a girl in his restaurant, and he sits her down, gives her food, calls Child Protective, and he gets a bullet in return. And I can't sit for that. So I'm going to put him Hawkins AV Club. That may be a little high for some of you, but in such a dark world that this has become, he is a shining light. And now we have Billy. Billy is conflicting. Billy's conflicting. And there's a reason Billy is conflicting. Billy is racist, abusive, extremely violent. Like, extremely violent. There's so much wrong with Billy. But his final sacrifice, he has to go. If I'm putting Benny there, I gotta put him there. And you might say, wow, like, how can you put this person who's done so much harm in the 2 seasons that he was involved? Because he made his sacrifice for the group. He redeemed his character. And if we had a Billy backstory, I'm sure it would be extremely sad. And we'd probably find some empathy and some compassion for this guy. So yeah, despite his faults and his issues, I'm putting him in Hawkins AV Club. And I'm also going to put Bob in Hawkins AV Club. I would love to put him in Scoops Ahoy squad, but he only lasted a season. And hear me out, because we're going to get to somebody else I'm going to put higher, and they only lasted a season. Bob's impact was there. I'm not saying it wasn't, but it was just not like, you have the moment in season 3 when they go back to the hospital or they go back to the lab, and Joyce has that moment where she, and it kind of like takes her back. But really, besides that, like, not much. So I'm going to give Bob his flowers. He will be in Hawkins AV Club, but he is not going to be a Scoop Ahoy squad. Now, Papa is Demogorgon bait. I don't care for his redemption in season 4. All of this would have been avoided if it weren't for him. Matter of fact, I'm making him down here with Will's haircut. He is an awful human being. Awful character. I in some way you see that he has some kind of kinship, love for Eleven, but really he's just here. And the fact that they were just stealing children from pregnant women and then lobotomizing them. Will's haircut. I mean, it's not as bad, but Will's haircut. We have unnamed man. I don't remember his name. He is the son of Gary Busey. He is working at the newspaper that Nancy and we're gonna put him in Papa's Lab Rejects. I don't remember enough about him to really talk too much on him, so we're gonna leave him right there. Chrissy. Put Chrissy in Hawkins AV Club. I wish she would have lasted longer in this series. I thought she would have been a great show. She great character in the show. She has a very good final girl archetype where you could see her like really putting up a fight against a lot of things. But the way that went out was absolutely horrifying. The way that her and Eddie kind of bonded was really sweet, and like you just saw her more in the series. But she was the first that had to go to kind of break down those four corners for Vecna to get control. So we'll put her in Hawkins AV. Hawkins AV is filling up, but don't worry, to a Vecna's worst nightmare with Dustin. He is by far the most loyal friend out of the friend group. I truly believe that he has some of the best character arc and he shows some of the most heart in the show when everyone else is off on their own stupid um, childlike whatever. He seems to be the only one who's grounded in. He's looking after he has the demo dog. He goes to find his demo dog. In season one, he is like willing to be sacrificed in order to find Will. In season three, he's kind of neglected by the group, but then he goes on this mission with Steve and Robin. And in season four, of course, he's paired up with Eddie, and he has such an insane arc there. He is Vecna's worst nightmare. He is the heart of the group. I don't care what anyone says. He is the heart and the loyalty of the group. And speaking of, we have Eddie. I am putting Eddie in Scoops Ahoy squad. Now, some people would say he's the best character of the show, and I'm going to argue with you. But because of my rule of him only being around for one season, I have to kind of stick in my parameters here. He is Scoops Ahoy squad because he is such a great character. You see the effects of how the satanic panic has after he dies. You see how much of a hero he becomes after he repeatedly says he's not a hero. He's not going to be the hero. How he always runs and he's tired of running. And then you have this emotional moment where he is crying and he looks at Dustin and he says, "I didn't run," and he dies. So Scoops Ahoy Squad, great character. He's never coming back. So let's just face that. 11. Now, 11 has to go in back to his worst nightmare, but she has objectively made so many weird decisions. And maybe it's just because the main character always tends to be the most bland as far as their personality, which she is the main character. So she tends to have the most bland personality out of the entire group. There are really good flashes of her being um, really charismatic in a sense as well. So much is emotionally put on her. I think back to season three. A lot of this goes back to season three for me. When she is fighting Billy and they're in the sauna and they're doing the sauna test and she is just pushing him in the room and she's screaming and she's crying and there's all that emotion. And then she collapses and there's the emotion where she's reading Hopper's letter at the end of that season and she's just conveying so much. Um, Millie Bobby Brown is such a great actress as 11. I haven't work, but I'm going to put her in Vecna's worst nightmare because of course she is. Now I cannot remember this Russian guy and where's the other Russian guy? This guy. I can't not remember their name. I'm going to put him in Hawkins AV Club because he ends up coming around and pretty much saving the group in a sense. And I'm going to put him in Demogorgon Bait. Matter of fact, I'll put them both down there. I just cannot really remember what their plot points are. There were a lot of times when Hopper was in Russia that I just didn't pay attention to it. I'm not gonna lie. Hopper has never, well, the Russia arc just was never a big deal for me. Didn't ever really care too much for it, so I'm just gonna put them there. Then we have Erica, and you can't spell America without Erica. We're putting Erica in Scoops Ahoy squad. She's the original Scoops Ahoy member. For being in season two, just you see her a little bit as the annoying little sister. But when they bring her in on season three and they give her like an actual kind of character and she's doing something and she's actually um, somewhat important, it shines. It shines. And season four is the same way. Like she is right there with Lucas, and you see so much more of her character. I gotta put her in Scoops Ahoy squad. I think she's great. Now Hopper. Hopper is difficult, right? David Harbour issues aside, Hopper is difficult because in season one and season two, I think are really his best seasons. Um, There's a little bit in season three where I'm like, okay, like this is like good emotion, and a little bit in season four where you see the good emotion when he finally makes it back. Um, but season one and season two are like so good. And just for that reason, man, I gotta put him in Scoops Ahoy because I think they really lost the plot on Hopper, and I keep saying Hopper. I think they lost the plot on him, and I think in this season we can really get back to that heart of season one and season two. So with that hope, I'm gonna put him in Scoops Ahoy squad. We have Unnamed Man, and I don't know his name. I can't remember his name, but I remember he's absolutely eviscerated at the end of season four, and because of that, and because of him pretty much being the reason that Max is a vegetable, we're gonna put him in Will's haircut. He seemed kind of chill in the beginning, and then when he goes on this crazy witch hunt for Eddie, and it ultimately leads to him and Lucas having this knockout, drag out brawl, and then the gates of the Upside Down opening up across him, which it was crazy to watch. Um, he's Will's haircut. He just becomes as awful as you can be. It's almost like Vecna them worse. It amplifies their worst traits, and it happens to him. Jonathan. If it was just season one, Jonathan, he would probably be Demogorgon bait because of his creepiness, right? But as the show goes on, I begin to like Jonathan's character more, and that has been a reverse for most people. Most people don't like his character because he kind of is just like there. But I think he is really the heart of Will's family. Besides, I mean, I don't say besides Joyce, but he really has a lot of the ground. He grounds that family a lot. And this is going to be unpopular, but I'm putting him in Vecna's worst nightmare because I think that I really have always resonated to some degree with his character. I get, you know, he doesn't come from a rich family. He doesn't have all these things, and he's really just trying to do the best for his family. So he's Vecna's worst nightmare. And right next to Vecna's worst nightmare, we're also gonna put Joyce. Um, holding it down, Winona Ryder, holding it down, come to this role. Season one, clutch. She's putting the lights up. She's writing on the wall. She's losing her mind, but she just wants, and that is such a um, human story. And you think about in real life, aside from the show, the mother who just wants their son back. Maybe they've lost their son, like maybe their son's died, or maybe their son's missing, or maybe their son's grappling with addiction or whatever it is. But the idea of just wanting your son back, it's such a human story. And Winona Ryder's Winona Ryder. Winona Ryder's just one. So, Vecna's worst nightmare. And we have Miss Wheeler. Miss Wheeler is a solid mom, a decently mediocre wife. We're gonna put her in Hawkins AV Club. Supposedly, she will be very key in this final season. We'll see. As of right now, though, Hawkins AV is the place she needs to be. Um, Carrie Elwes's character, who's the mayor, um, I'll put him in Papa's Labs rejects. He's only in season three. He's horrible, but it's also Carrie Elwes, so we're gonna give him a little bit of leeway there. He plays a really good bad guy. Um, with the line with Hopper about "Don't give me the dead daughter story, sob story, it doesn't work on me. I just don't care." And then he has his finger put in that cigar cutter. I think he plays bad really well. I'm gonna give him that. Will's dad and Jonathan's dad. I'm just gonna put him in Will's haircut. He is honestly pretty much the worst. And there's an insinuation that he may have, like Jonathan goes and checks. So there's an insinuation that he is like insanely abusive to the point where they believe he would have killed Will. So I'm just gonna put him there because that's probably who he is. Lucas Sinclair. I literally me and my friends in our group chat, we were just talking about him and how like in season one he's so annoying. Even in season two he's pretty annoying. But in season towards the end of season two and then season three and season four he redeems himself. In season one, like this kid like kind of like low key had no loyalty for the group, and he was so mad that there was a girl in the group. Um, but he's grown so much. I'm not gonna put him in Vecna's worst nightmare. I just really can't. But I'll put him in Soy Squad because there is a solid amount of redemption for him in my eyes to make him that kind of character before he really wasn't. Max Mayfield is gonna go in Vecna's worst nightmare. I think Max. I'm gonna move Max up here next to Dustin. Let's adjust these real quick. There we go. 11 least liked character that Max is one of the most well-written characters in the show. When she comes in, you don't really feel like she might be like a side bit character, but she has a good chemistry with everybody. And then in season three, she shined really well dealing with the situation. Season four is like great because she's perfectly showing grief. We know Sadie Sink can act, so she's perfectly showing her the scenes she has when she's running from back then. She's an upside down, and there's just so many bits and pieces of her, just her final scene in season four when she's awake and she's like, crying and her eyes are white. So I don't want to die, this and that. I'm excited to see what they do with her in season five. She's like his worst nightmare. Mike Wheeler. Mike Wheeler is gonna go in Scoops Ahoy. He's gonna go in Scoops Ahoy because he has had such an insane nerfing of his character after really after season two. He's like in season three, he's just he's a dick. He's like a dick to everybody, kind of, except for 11. Because he's just obsessed with spending time with her. And there's a few moments where he has some kind of heart, and but it's hard. But still, season four gives him a bit of a redemption in some areas. Um, but he's just like so insanely oblivious. Um, and maybe it's like the idea of he's like hapless, but in my opinion, he got nerfed after season two. Of course, we have Eleven's mom, Jane's mom. I'm just gonna put her in lab rejects. We don't get anything from her besides kind of what happened to her, so I'm just gonna put her there. She got lobotomized. Murray. Murray's interesting. Murray's been around since the end of season one, I want to say. Maybe has it been the end of season one, or maybe it was the end of season two? I think it was the end of season two. He's been around. So, around since season two, I will say he is Demogorgon bait. Yeah, I put him Demogorgon bait. I don't like his character. There's a few moments where he's like kind of funny, but I just don't really care for his character. I don't know what it is. It just looks like the consistently being sarcastic and like he does add to the show. I'm not gonna say he doesn't. He just I don't care for him at all. Like if he dies and I won't care at all. Won't shed a tear. So Demogorgon bait. Now we have Nick Wheeler, Vecna's worst nightmare. If you would have asked me before season three, I would have said no, probably Hawkins AV. But the end of season three, and then all of season four, she's cooking all of season four. Um, it's like everything she's fantastic. Finally, she's shooting like it's solid. Vecna's worst nightmare. I remember these two, but I do remember they're hilarious. We're just gonna put them in Hawkins AV just because I want to. Um, they're hilarious and they seem kind of sympathetic. Robin Buckley, we're gonna put her in the top Scoops Ahoy squad. No negative traits. A little ditzy, a little dumb in some spots, and mainly in season four. Just a few moments you're like, what are you talking about? But like she cracks the Russian code. She has a great heart to heart with Steve. They both get kidnapped by the Russians. They're both high, like laughing. It's like funny. So she's good comic relief, but at the same time, like you understand the struggles that she's having because she's in love with this one character, but this character, I can't remember the character's name. The one looks like Molly Ringwald, right? So she's in love with her, but she has a boyfriend. It's just like it's deeper levels of storytelling, and then they become friends and the struggles that she has because she like it's like she looks at Steve as a older brother, So she's super protective of Steve. There's a lot there. So she's gonna have to go. Scoops Ahoy squad. I could put her in Vecna's worst nightmare, but we're saving that for two more people. Dude, I these doctors, I cannot remember the name. I cannot remember his name at all. But I'm gonna put him in Hawkins AV. He really did do his best to protect 11. So he can go there. Great character. I just cannot remember his name. I'm sorry. And then we got the AV club, homie, the science teacher. We're putting him in Hawkins AV because that's where he belongs. He did a lot. He helped explain so much in season one and season two. I don't remember if he was in season three. I remember he was risen up at the end of season two. So that's really the last I remember. You know what? He was in season three. He was helping Joyce with the magnets. So shout out to him. Shout out to him. I don't remember her. So she's going to Wilson. I don't remember who she is. Actually, we won't even put her on here. I have no clue who that is. Steve Harrington, the GOAT. All right. Steve Harrington in Vecna's worst nightmare. I'm making him number one. Here's why. Had the greatest character arc in some of modern television, if you will. He went from being the douchey, classic early 80s bully to being the hero, the babysitter. One of the most heroic people in here because he wanted to sacrifice himself at any time. You get a deeper look into his feelings and his character in season four when he's like, look, I just want a family. I just want to be happy. I just want to travel with my family, be on the road. Um, you see in season three where he's kind of lost being Steve Harrington. He's not Steve Harrington anymore. He's just a Scoops Ahoy employee. But you see him once again willing to sacrifice himself for these kids over and over again. He would die for Dustin, and in season five, he might. He might. That's all I'm saying. But he is, in my opinion, the greatest character in the show. Not just that, probably one of the greatest character arcs in TV currently. Just putting that out there. The Arnold Schwarzenegger Russian that gets killed at the end of season three. Oh, we're gonna put him in Papa's Lab Rejects. I mean, the man didn't do anything. He was just kind of a walking piece of muscle. And then we're gonna get Nancy and Jonathan's boss from season three at the newspaper. We're gonna make him Demi Gordon. Now we'll put him in Papa's Lab Rejects. He's a misogynistic guy, just a douchebag. That's really all. And then he dies. So there's that. We have Vecna. Now, I've debated on making just doing this as number one, or if I do this as Vecna. I think I'm going to combine both of them, and I'm going to put Vecna as Vecna's own worst nightmare. Put him in front of it. Vecna is fantastic. Number one, I don't know why I just suddenly started blanking on his character's actual name, but absolutely fantastic. Like, just you think that he's the good guy, and well, I mean, the viewer knows, but he plays being the good guy so well, and then he just flips the switch, and he's an evil being who has orchestrated all of this. And seeing that, 11 sends him to the Upside Down. Did she create the Upside Down? Is the Upside Down this? We'll find that out in season five. Um, and then I also had the benefit of watching the first 5 minutes of season five tonight. Adds just layers to it. Um, Fantastic S tier character. I cannot remember her name. I'm just gonna call her Molly Ringwald. We'll put her in Demogorgon Bay at top of it. We haven't had much character shown of her, so that's where she's gonna be at. And now we have the more controversial, mainly because of the actor himself. But we're gonna talk about Will Byers. Now, Will Byers is interesting, right? Because season one and two, really, he's just kind of been whiny every season. Been kind of whiny every season. Season four might be, I don't know, it was bad. Season three and season four, like he was just so whiny. Um, I'm gonna put him in Hawkins AV. Okay, I'm gonna put him in Hawkins AV. I am really hoping there's redemption for the character in season five, just to make him a little bit less like whiny. Maybe no time's face is just whiny. But like season one and season two, I understand it. Like he was gone for most of season one and season two, he's like dealing with the mind flare. season 3, like he's not growing up, Will the Wise, and then season 4, like just so weird. I don't know how to explain it. Like he had a great moment with Mike in the car, and him and Jonathan had a great moment, but like as far as acting wise, but like you kind of just knew from like late season 2, early season 3 that like Will was gonna be gay, right? Which is cool, whatever. Um, but like I just don't think it was ever handled well. I don't think anything about it was ever handled well, and it kind of just makes him seem more whiny. It's just something about his character. Maybe it's just Noah Schnapp is just a whiny person. I don't know. But we'll put him in Hawkins AV Club. I'm really hoping there's some redemption here with his character. In the first 5 minutes of season 5, his character seems a lot cooler than he has been for the last two seasons. So, this is Stranger Things season. This is like the character tier ranking. Cannot wait for season 5 to drop. I'm so excited and sad at the same time. If you agree with this, let me know. If you don't agree with it, let me know what you would change. Um, but please like, subscribe. More videos are on the way. I'm very excited about Orleans channel. I've been a little bit, I got a lot up here. So, see you guys later. See you on the next one.